Hi, thanks for joining me today on Susan's Cozy Kitchen. Today I am making a southern delicacy for you, and believe it or not, this is something that I managed to live 54 and a half years before having the first time. I know, can you believe I had never had a buttermilk pie until this past March. So today, that's what I'm going to make for you, and hopefully it will turn out fabulous. So a little bit of background, I don't have a family recipe for this. As far as I know, no one in my family has ever made it. Had to go online and search for a recipe. Finally found one that sounded like it would taste like the one that I had at my mother-in-law's. So today I'm giving it my very first try, and we'll see what happens. Now let's get started. The first thing I need to tell you is I do have the oven preheating to 350 degrees. I'm taking the lazy way out. I bought a frozen pie crust. This is a 9-inch deep dish pie crust. So I've got this out thawing while I mix together the ingredients. I have a cookie sheet also preheating in the oven. The first thing I want to do is to crack these 2 eggs and put them in the bowl of my mixer. Now, normally I would do this just in a bowl with a hand mixer, but my hand mixer died. If you saw that video, get that down and locked. And okay, I want to beat my eggs until they are frothy. So I'm going to turn this up onto a relatively high speed and get that going. Okay, they're starting to get frothy now, so I'm going to add a cup of sugar while it's still beating. Slowly pouring this in. Going to let that mix in. All right, that's looking really good. Okay, now I have a stick and a half of butter that I melted, so let's pour that in. Now a cup of buttermilk. Then I'm just slowly pouring it in and letting it incorporate as the mixer's going. Now I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and I'm not going to worry about measuring. I'm just going to dump some in here. It'll probably be a little bit more than 2 teaspoons because I like a lot of vanilla when I'm baking, so it'll be somewhere closer to probably 2.5 to 3 teaspoons. But let's try it. Here's 1 and 2. All right. And yeah, that probably was closer to a tablespoon than 2 teaspoons, but that's okay. Now, to help thicken it, I have a tablespoon of flour and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Put that in there. And then it calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. Again, I'm not going to measure. I'm just going to shake a little in. And I think that's probably well mixed. Okay, I know you're not supposed to eat raw eggs, but I just gave it a little drop from the beater. It tastes like homemade ice cream, which is a good indicator that this is going to be really tasty. Just pouring it all in. Oh yeah, to the top. And because of that, because there's so much, I am not going to scrape this out. Okay, the pie is in the oven. It's going to bake at 350 for 50 minutes. And make sure it's starting to get firm around the sides, but the middle will still probably be a little bit jiggly. At that point, I'm going to lower the temperature to 325 degrees and let it cook about 10 more minutes. I want the center to start firming up a little bit, and I want it to be clean when I put a cake tester in the middle of the pie. So once that comes out clean, then I'll remove it from the oven, let it cool, and then it will be ready to eat. Now this is going to be easy to overcook, and it's also going to be easy to undercook. So I'm going to be watching it very carefully while it's cooking. I may lower the temperature a little earlier than 50 minutes, but I will let you know all of that at the end once we are finished with all of this. So I will see you back in about 50 to 60 minutes when the pie is ready to come out. Okay, so here's the deal. It cooked for 50 minutes at 350. It was still very, I don't know, watery. It was like almost like the consistency that I had poured it into the pie shell. I went ahead and turned it down to 325 and let it cook for 15 minutes. And it was starting to get firm around the edges, so I turned the pie around because the back side was starting to get firmer than the front. I think it's probably warmer at the back than it is at the front. So I turned it so that hopefully it will start getting firm all the way around. I've let it cook for another 10 minutes. It's still very loose and jiggly in the middle, but y'all, I've got somewhere I need to be and I don't know what to do. I'm tempted to simply turn off the heat in the oven and let it sit until I get back from my appointment and hope that it doesn't overbake. I'm really in a quandary. I've never made this before. First time. I want it to be perfect, especially since I'm filming it for you. It's just not looking too good right now. It has already cooked 19 minutes longer than the recipe called for, and it's still very jiggly in the middle. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn it off, but that it can finish cooking, and then I will finish the video when I get back from. Okay, here we go. I did end up just turning off the oven and leaving it sitting in there in the warm oven so it would finish cooking and hopefully be done. So let's give it a try. This is actually from Pampered Chef. It's their new cake tester, and let's give it a test. Right in the middle and out, and that, yeah, that came out clean. I think this is gonna be good. All right, now I do need to let this finish cooling more than it is. It's still pretty hot right now, even though it's been sitting in a just warm oven. It's still too warm to cut right now. I'm going to let this sit out, and actually I may stick it in the refrigerator for a little bit to finish cooling, and then I will try a slice, and I cannot wait. Let me tell you, this is going to be fantastic. Right, I will see you back after it has cooled, and we'll give it a taste test together. Okay, here we are. It is chilled. It has firmed up. I think it's going to be ready to eat now. Let's cut a slice and see. Oh yeah, look at that. That came out nice and custardy and pretty. Let's give it a try. All right, the bottom crust, nicely cooked. That's tasty. I will say, I did not do as good a job on this one as the one that I had at my mother-in-law's back in March. Honestly, y'all, I'm calling this one a fail. I do not like the way this turned out. And in fact, I'm not sure that I'm gonna eat another bite of it. Yeah, this one did not live up to my expectation. I'm gonna let some other people in the family eat it, see what they think. So to me, it's a failure. I'm ready to chuck this one in the trash and try again tomorrow. Remember, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram. Those links will be in the description box below, along with the full recipe. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure and give it a big thumbs up. If you're not already a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell next to it so that you find out every time I upload a new video to YouTube. Thanks for joining me today. God bless.